YGG here, Gabby, Dizon, Beryl, Leah, and Owl of Moistness. And they're going to answer all of our questions about the upcoming YGG token sale. But Beryl, so we read in the announcement that the token sale is going to happen on Miso by Sushi Swap.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Anyone who's never really heard of it, because Miso is pretty new, right? Like, maybe you could tell us a little bit about Miso and why you selected it for your token launch.
Well, Miso is a new platform, but it's part of the Sushi, network. They've just launched it last month. So it's really interesting because it has the mechanics that we want. So we'll be doing an auction, and we have agreed to do a batch auction. And the Miso platform offers that sort of mechanics, which makes life so much easier for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's not all that often that you hear people talking about how great the user experience is in crypto. So I think that's pretty awesome. Sorry, Al, Gabby, did you have any thoughts on Miso? I know that the partnership is super important for YGG. Did you want to add anything?
I saw their, what they've been offering as a service, and it's really cool, allowing to pretty much anyone can do this. Those token sales with different types of options if you want, and it kind of feeds the needs of different token sales you want to go with, and it made sense for us to go with Miso, and we're happy to be able to have them handle the token sale for us.
That's fantastic. And if anyone has any questions about Miso or Sushi Swap, feel free to drop them in the chat. So another question too, I know that you guys have a very strong advisory board. Maybe you guys could tell us a little bit about who is on the advisory board for YGG, and how do they support the project?
Oh, should I answer?
Or maybe you, Beryl, but Gabby, I can't hear you. Maybe you're speaking, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry, I had audio problems.
So we hear you fine.
Yeah, we were just wondering about the advisory board, actually. Like, maybe you could tell us a little bit about who the advisors are to YGG and what sort of role that they play.
Okay. So right now we have 4 advisors for YGG. So the first one is Anil Lula of Delphi Digital. So Anil is very special in that he's actually the first person that I pitched YGG to. And because Delphi Digital actually designed the AXS token of Axie Infinity, they immediately understood what we were trying to do with YGG. And they also helped us design the YGG token that we will be releasing next month. Second is someone that probably everyone here knows, Psychout or Alex. So Alex has been a good friend coming back from like the very early days of Axie Infinity. And Owl and myself have been part of the community since, for me, late 2018. And, apart from us being part of the game community from way back, I think Alex actually has very deep knowledge of the NFT gaming space, and we just tap him for advice to see how we can grow the guild. The third one is Joe Mahon, or Substrate. So he's a friend of mine that I met through the Wi-Fi or Yearn community, and Joe is really good at basically scaling decentralized organizations. He actually worked for the Downtown project of Tony Hsieh, the creator of Zappos. And they were running in a decentralized manner, and then he worked for Yearn Finance. So we tap him for how to grow basically a decentralized community. And the last one is Eric Arsenault, who is now head of community, I think, at Rarible. So Eric has been designing DAO structures for a long time, and he was one of the first person that I actually looked into to figure out like how to do YGG as a DAO. And he'll be continuing to advise us into how we achieve decentralization with our organization.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Gabby. SEDANO, I think that you had some great questions too to kick us off.
Yeah. So actually, like my questions are gonna be like a little bit like game centered. It's gonna be focusing on all the games that YGG is involved in. So like first off, so in the white paper, you guys mention like YGG is a DAO and there are also sub DAOs within the game. So how does that actually work?
Should I take this one?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Belle.
Oh yeah, okay. So so we do have sub DAOs. So YGG as an organization for the community is the master decentralized autonomous organization, where people who actually own a part of the YGG token can participate in decision making within the DAO. They could submit proposals and they can vote on proposals, for activities within the DAO itself, like YGG itself. Then YGG is building out these sub DAOs where we at YGG, the treasury, we actually end up buying NFTs such as Metaverse Land. So we do the likes of Sandbox, of Axie Land. We also have, we've been looking into Ember Sword Land as well, and a lot of these like land assets. And what we do is we have a wallet that actually owns this particular like asset. So we have one wallet that actually owns Axie land, and then another wallet that has League of Kingdoms, for example. Another wallet that would actually own Sandbox land, and we tokenize again this wallet. So if it's League of Kingdoms, we call it a League of a YGG League of Kingdoms token. So it's a so it becomes like an independent economy where people could the community could decide to actually build on top of the land itself, and they become co-owners of the land as well.
All right, awesome. Like just connected to that, just so just to get it clear. So if ever, for example, let's say in Axie Infinity, the YGG decides to sell an asset, like with the involvement of like being an owner of a token, of the governance and everything. So who exactly is going to be deciding on those steps for that particular DAO? Like how does it work?
So I'll take this. So, for example, we have an 86 plot land estate in League of Kingdoms, and there are people in our community, a lot of the active players in the YGG Zero Alliance that are also token holders of the YGG LOK token. So, as the kind of core team, we actually don't make decisions related to the game. So people play the game, and they have governance over what happens in the game and what to do with the assets and the earnings in the game. So for example, with the yield that is earned in the game, if people want to distribute it to the token holders, then someone will have to pass a governance proposal on Snapshot to do it. And if people vote on it, then we will execute. If someone wants to say, let's sell the land and then distribute the proceeds to all the players, or basically dissolving our land, then if people vote for it, then we do it. But this is entirely in the hands of the community. This is not under control of the team. And right now, there is only one sub-DAO where governance is in effect. It is in League of Kingdoms, but yeah, this is something that we want to improve on in the coming months, where we are gradually adding sub-DAOs to the different games, especially the ones that have active communities where we have bought NFT assets, so that our players can be in control of the destiny of these games.
All right, cool. Like, yeah, thanks, Gabby. Because yeah, actually, I was about to ask about that. Like, so, like, let's say for example, in Axie Infinity, since there are gonna be more side chains for other games, and like we know that like Ronin doesn't fully support the process of there's no gnosis safe and a multi-sig function like just yet. But then how do you think it's gonna like play out? like in terms of having a sub DAO in Axie Infinity?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to put the subDAO token inside of Ronin. It will be in still in Ethereum, and we will do the governance process from there. But we will declare basically what assets are included. If we, for example, create a token around YGG Axie, which contains our land, which contains our I think 7,000 plus Axies. So even if they exist on a different chain, basically, we will be declaring if we create a subDAO what assets will be included.
Awesome, and everything's gonna be on the Ethereum network, like even the subDAOs. Like, yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, so I mean, I just wanna like make a quick shout out to the guy who gave the question from the community at Snorkelington. So yeah, Leah, back at you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I had some questions more about the public sale actually, because I'm sure there are a lot of people in the community who are super keen to get their hands on YGG tokens. But, is it possible that people could earn these tokens as opposed to just buying them? And if so, who can earn them and what sort of activities will be rewarded?
Okay, I can take this. So there are two things that we're doing for people who have been active part of the community. First one is we are doing an airdrop. There is no specific date yet, but it will be after the token sale. We will be taking a snapshot of people who have been at a certain date of people who have contributed to the community in various ways. It may be for example, you may be one of our early supporters and have possession of the founder's coin in your wallet. You may be active in Axie as a scholar or as a manager or in League of Kingdoms or in some of the other games as support. The exact criteria isn't set now, but if you have been helpful and have been contributing to the guild with your time and your effort, if you are an active community member, that's actually more important to us than your money. So we want to reward that and airdrop some tokens to people who have been active in that manner. Second is that later on, later this year, we will be launching what the website of Yield Guild, which we will have what we call the community mining program. So it's not a liquidity mining program where you put in money and basically farm YGG tokens. So it's not going to work like that. What we will do is that there will be a quest system on top of the different games that we are playing. For example, Axie, or it might be League of Kingdoms. We're not exactly sure yet. And then there will be quests that people can perform in these games. And if they achieve these quests, then they will receive the YGG token. Now, we have reserved almost up to 45% of the token supply of the YGG tokens to be distributed in this manner. That means that our community will actually receive up to almost half of the tokens. Well, not free because you're not paying for it, but you're actually paying for it with your active contribution. So if someone wants to buy the YGG token and maybe does not want to contribute or it's too busy, then they can buy it in the sale or in public markets afterwards. But for those people who actually have more time and effort to contribute than money, then they will be able to earn a good amount of our tokens via these two methods.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's seriously awesome. I'm really excited about that too. And there's obviously some extremely engaged members of the community as well who will be excited about that. And I guess, that's a really big token allocation to the community. I guess to date, YGG has been quite successful in already raising funds. And I know that, to date, you've raised $5.325 million. Congratulations in VC capital. So, why was that important? Maybe you could explain to us a little bit the thinking behind that, what that funding will be used for, and, ultimately what that means to the community. Like, how does that funding benefit the community?
Sure. So the reason why we're able to provide value and basically to provide these scholarships and buy the assets in different games is because we have raised this capital from VCs. We have some excellent VCs on board from Delphi Digital, Scalar Capital, Gumi Cryptos to Bitcraft in our latest round, IDEO Collab. I can go on and on. We actually have the backing of some of the really best investors in the world. And the great thing about that is that we're taking the money that these investors are giving us and we're actually using it to buy NFTs, to breed axes, to buy SLP, and then provide the service to our players. So this is incredibly important because we're taking this VC money and directly turning it into NFTs that our players can use. But now we don't want our community to buy in like similar to how these VCs come in because the VCs have a lot of money, obviously. For a lot of our players who may have more time and skill and effort and money, we want to make sure that they can be rewarded for their efforts by playing the game, by being active in the Discord, by participating in governance. And that is that is how we want to really reward our community. We want our community to be the owners of this guild, and on one hand the investors are providing the capital so that we can buy these NFTs that we can use for our scholars and for our other players. But on the one hand, our community will be providing with their effort, helping market YGG, recruiting scholars, training people in play to earn. This is actually more important to us than just money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, a lot of those funding announcements too have really turned a lot of heads around the world. You know, everyone is looking to YGG now to see what the guild will do next, and having that international recognition and validation from some of the biggest investors in the world really helps with that. I guess just a follow-on question from that, you know, when you're buying and investing in these NFTs, what is actually the goal here? You know, are you looking to buy and sell them for a profit as quickly as possible, or, you know, is it more about renting them out to players? What's the key focus?
Okay, so I'll take this. So we actually don't really think about selling the NFTs that we buy. When we buy the NFTs, whether they're land in Ember Sword, for example, or the guilds in Guild of Guardians, we always do this with the angle of we want to provide a service for our community. We want our community to play these games using our NFTs, and we want our community to play to earn. So we're not really buying these assets to sell them. And honestly, if I had my way, we'd probably just never sell them. However, if we have the DAO set up and the player governance in each game decides that they want to sell assets, then if the vote passes, then we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a really important distinction as well, because I guess a lot of people, you know, may assume that you know, you want to sell them, but I think obviously the key thing is making sure that the community has access to these incredibly valuable NFTs. Thank you. Over to you, SEDANO.
Yeah, thanks, Leah. So yeah, I mean, with in related to our players in the community. So I've been reading about this level up system. So, Gabby, could you like give us more information on this level up system and how it works exactly? Like, if I was a scholar, how does this benefit me directly in different games?
Okay, so the level up system means there are several ways for someone to get reputation and rewards, and this will be using the different games that we are partnered with. We're probably going to start with Axie, and then we're going to go with the other games that we are partnered with and having an active community. For example, it could be League of Kingdoms, or it could be Formula One Delta Time, or it could be Splinterlands. But there will be kind of a leveling system, like a quest system on these games. And as you achieve, certain quests, you're basically gaining reputation. And over time, you can build up your reputation in the guild as, you know, maybe I'm one of the senior members of the Axie Infinity, or I'm one of the leaders of Splinterland. So this enables people to build up a reputation on the games that they are very active with, or even if they're not active in the games. For example, I'm a very helpful community member. I'm a content creator. I may be a scholarship manager. If I'm contributing to the guild, we want to be able to capture that as reputation, and that reputation will take you a long way as being shown as a kind of senior member of the guild.
Awesome. Like, yeah, that's really great. That's really awesome to hear. I mean, basically, like, the guild is also gamified. So not only the games, but even the system within the guild, and like it directly benefits like each and everyone's contributions to the guild, not only in play to earn, but in the sense of community as well. I mean, that's really good to hear. It's really good to hear, especially for everyone who's been asking like what they could do to contribute. And I mean, yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. Then you don't need to be a player, you don't need to be in a game, you don't need to be a scholar, but then you can participate and you can level up within YGG. Like, I mean, that's really good stuff to hear. And I mean, related to that, I have another question actually, Gabby. So, as a scholar, do we have voting power within the YGG DAO, or is it controlled by YGG and the investors?
So, if as long as you have tokens, you are a scholar or investor or player, you will have your vote, and your vote will be heard. So all it really matters is that you own tokens, and you will basically own a part of the guild itself.
Yeah, I mean that's really great because I mean in the white paper it also says that you don't really need to put in money at all. All you need to do is participate, and you can actually be part of the governance. You can earn your YGG token in itself. So I mean, Gabby, in the future, do YGG scholars have the option to take a split of the scholarship earnings in YGG token? Is that a thing?
It's not something that we've fully designed yet. So I think part of our work in the next few months after the sale is to figure out exactly how to distribute the YGG tokens to, for example, players like our scholar. So it's something that is still a work in progress.
But I mean, but then yeah, it is for sure. So you guys out there like listening, it is a possibility, and it is something that YGG is definitely like looking at. Yeah, I mean, awesome. Like, thanks, Gabby. I'm good, Leah.
Just before this,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just like to emphasize, give a bit more details about what we're trying to build with YGG and where we are right now. You can consider this. You can consider what we're trying to build as a ship, and right now, it needs a direction, it needs an aim, and right now we have kind of like full control of what we want to do with it, because we need to build the tools and all the necessary structures and services to make it work as intended, to be supporting all those games, to be creating all those DAOs that behave as expected. And then in the long term, all those proposals about sharing revenue streams between all the systems that we're setting up can be then changed via proposals. There could be some sort of vault, or the scholarship stuff, where someone says, I think that certain percentages of what scholars are making should go into a treasury that then can be used and redistributed, and can be used for anything. Could be maybe a prize pool for some tournament, can be used as just revenue stream for passively for people at stake into this specific vault. There's all those kind of things that can really be set up. And this is kind of the end game of what we want to achieve with YGG. Overall, in the long term, we become less and less, how to say this, concentrated with power, and we give that back to the community while being still here to help, with organizations and everything. So that's kind of the end game, and those proposals in the long term should be able to pop up and be possible.
Awesome.
I also wanted to add something to what Al and Gabby actually shared. So when we were designing the DAO, the reason why we allocated 45% in the community, because we really wanted to make the DAO really inclusive as much as possible. In the sale, we'll be circulating 2.5% of our supply as well, to allow other people who'd like to acquire some of these tokens if they do not want to, or they do not have the time to be able to play the game. And with regards revenue as a DAO, anybody who actually has the YGG tokens actually gets access to this revenue pro rata. So that means to say that in the future, we do have a product in the pipeline, in the roadmap, which Al mentioned as a vault, right? And with these vaults, what happens is if you own these YGG tokens, you can store them and lock them in this vault. And whenever there is actually kind of like revenue as dividends being distributed, it would actually go to these vaults that has actually tokens locked in it. And so these vaults would have different mechanics. So maybe one vault would actually represent revenues of the overall DAO, or another vault might actually just represent a particular income generating business stream. So for example, breeding axes, right? And if you don't want other revenue models, but you really want to focus on shared revenue of this particular business model, then you could actually just specifically choose a particular vault. So that's the idea. It's definitely a work in progress, but we'll definitely share more information as we go.
That's really great to hear, though. Like, I mean, it's something that I believe has never been done before in a sense of a guild and in the gaming community, especially like play to earn is relatively new. And again, as Owl said, we're still building that ship, and like it's really up to us how we dictate everything, how everything goes, basically. I mean, I'm just really excited for everything that's going to be happening, and I mean, I believe that the community would also share my sentiments on it. And like, yeah, I'm just like right now, all I'm looking forward to is just contributing and building the community with everyone else. Yeah, awesome stuff, like exciting stuff ahead of everyone, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, I'd echo everything that you said there. It is really exciting to think about how this is going to build out. And, I wanted to pick up on a bit of a key word that Beryl just mentioned in terms of inclusivity, because I think this is one of the main things that YGG really stands for. And perhaps one of the things that is maybe the most exciting about the metaverse is this potential for everyone to be involved, everyone to be included, and to be able to take part in this the building of this new world, and to make sure that it goes in a direction that we want. So I think that's a pretty exciting part of this, and I wanted to dig into it a little bit more because we were talking about the sub-DAOs and the fact that people will be able to participate by putting forward proposals in the way that they think that governments should move forward, and also vote on these proposals to determine what the group actually wants to do. But could someone actually walk me through that process? Like, what does a governance proposal look like? How is it put forward? How would people participate? How does it actually work?
I can take that.
Go ahead.
So in general, so we're not reinventing the wheel. There's already plenty of systems like this that exist in different protocols, specifically in DeFi, such as Yearn, Curve, Sushi, Cream, and all those places. Basically, as long as you are a governance token holder, you're able to submit some proposals to change the protocol to some blockchain layer, or something that changes with adding maybe a new feature and all those things. And so as someone, we will probably set it up so that you need some minimum amount of tokens to submit a proposal. And once the proposal is submitted, it's all about people voting in favor or not in favor of such proposal. And the voting power is basically the amount of tokens you have. So the more tokens you have, the more of the say you have in a proposal. And of course, there's websites as like Snapshot to allow to have hopefully healthy discussions and conversations regarding a proposal. And this is where there might be tension with people saying, yes, this is good because XYZ, and people saying, yes, however, those things make it so that it's not favorable. And at the end of the day, the people vote with their tokens, and if something passes just because of sheer amount of votes, quorum, and all those things, then the proposal is executed in such a way that it can be just programmatic, maybe something that goes into the contract, or it's something that proposes adding some new features on top of the existing infrastructure. So this is pretty much the process. Proposing something on an existing thing like Snapshot, and using those tokens to vote. And which therefore would give the outcome whether something would be accepted or not. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you so much. Did anyone want to add anything to that, Gabby or Beryl?
No, I'll pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really exciting because, play to earn has really taken off all across the world, but we have seen particular take up in emerging economies where people have kind of been excluded from other forms of participation, whether it's, getting a fair pay in a good job. And the digital economy is kind of offering up these opportunities that they just wouldn't have been able to find in their own backyard. So taking that a step further and being able to participate in the voting decisions and the governance of this world that we're all building together is really kind of the ultimate destination, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited particularly about that. A question to follow on from that. Now, look, caveat, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but let's just address it once and for all. We've talked about the importance of blockchain running on-chain governance proposals. Now, would YGG ever have anything to do with a non-blockchain game?
I don't think so. The reason for that is we want to invest in NFTs that we own and we lend out to our player base. It's hard for me to imagine us buying assets in a Fortnite, for example, or a Roblox that other people are using. I just can't see it happening. So I think we will be investing only in kind of NFT-based play-to-earn games.
Could you just explain a little bit about why that is, Gabby? Like, with the digital rights that come along with NFTs and why that's different to existing game models?
Yeah, so with if you see with games like Axie, for example, the economy is player owned, and this is a very, very important distinction. You cannot actually buy Axies from the Axie team itself, from Sky Mavis. They don't have Axies to sell you. You have to buy Axies from other players, and this is enabled by the blockchain. If you buy an NFT asset, then you own it. It's in your wallet. And yeah, this is part of why we can invest heavily in these assets, in that we know they will keep their value because we have ownership of them. So this is a very important part of what we're doing. We know we can trade these anytime in the marketplace. And yeah, I think more and more games that have economies will be actually on the blockchain in the future, and we will just see I think we'll be seeing opportunities to invest in major AAA, even branded games that will have their assets on the blockchain in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate that distinction because I think that is really important in terms of why the play to earn movement is so important and how it's evolving, in comparison to earlier models such as free to play and even pay to play. So thank you for that extra explanation. Back to you, SEDANO.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of really, really good questions. I think I'm down to my last one before we turn over the questions to the community. So yeah, I mean, talking about NFTs. So I mean, this question is basically geared towards the early adapters and the early people in YGG basically. So we do have an NFT that's the founders token, and it's I mean, just looking at it on the marketplace, it's been really crazy. The prices have really been going up, especially with the announcement of our token sale. So the question is there any benefit during the sale, basically, if you're a founders token owner?
Okay, so for the founders coin, we released it, by the way, for free back in January as a way to reward a lot of our early community members. So we released 300 of them. And this is something that basically signifies that you were with YGG from the start. And there will be many ways that you will be rewarded for holding this Founders Coin NFT in your wallet in the future. Now, the first reward will come from the YGG airdrop and not the sale. So there will be an airdrop that will, there will be a portion of that airdrop that is reserved for the founders coin holders. Now, this is not the only thing that will be the reward for these founders coin holders. So, for example, one of the things that we're doing, which actually we have to set up very soon, is there will be an exclusive chat room in the Discord that will only be for founders coin holders. So yeah, you will have your own pretty exclusive channel, and then in the future there will be things like promos, giveaways, freebies that will be that will be available. Now, one thing that I want to remind everyone is that it's only limited to one founder's coin per wallet or per member.
Mhm.
So if you happen to actually have more than one, then the benefits won't stack.
All right, I see. I mean, yeah, it's good that you brought that up, Gabby, because like, yeah, actually, there are a lot of groups. Well, but specifically, this question, yeah, was asked to me by different people and also people in groups who actually like want to be part of YGG, and like I understand that there aren't any available opportunities right now if you're a personal investor, if you want to get in YGG specifically. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but then there are these groups who want to buy like the founders token. They're trying to find the best deals for it, and they just really want to participate and get like as much involvement in YGG like early on, as early as now. But then yeah, like it's a good thing. It's really good to hear that I mean, basically we're benefiting everyone who's helping out YGG early on, who's been there with YGG like to begin with. And yeah, I mean that goes to the community as well. So as early as now, like I personally would like to like thank everyone who's been like helping out YGG in the best ways they can. And like moving on, like I believe that we have a lot of questions from the community. I'd like to turn over the mic to our community moderators, Corp City and Fallen Corpses. Are you guys there?
I am here.
Hey guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, go for it.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, everybody. I've been watching your questions here, and I've written down a few of them. So let's start off here. So we have one. Each vault will have specific rules such that it can be stipulated a lock-in period. Is there any measure that address is important in emergency situations which could avoid the stipulated lock-in period or implemented rules? And how does that measure work?
Beryl, want to take this?
Yeah, with regards to that question, did you mention vaults, or is this a question about the lock-in periods of the tokens we've already circulated in the market?
I think he's talking more about future vaults here, from what I'm gathering from his question.
Okay, so with regards to vaults, we have not decided about any, okay, so you're actually asking about, how long you would lock the YGG tokens inside the vault. Okay, I understand the question now. Yeah, so we haven't really decided on how long that lock-in period would be, but on top of mind, right? Like, this could change in the future, but we could probably have vaults that would lock in YGG tokens for example, 3 months. Another vault might actually be for a span of 6 months, a year. It's also possible that we could also have vaults where anyone can just like pull out anytime, right? But then we have not figured out how the rewards or APYs would actually change per vault. So my thinking is the longer the vault, the longer that you lock up your tokens in this vault, the higher the APY should be, right? It's similar to what the Cream protocol has done with 1 year lockup period versus the 3-year lockup period and the 4-year lockup period, right? So the longer you lock up the tokens, the greater the rewards would be. So we might actually look into a kind of similar model, but I could not commit right now. It's still something that we will have to design as we go along.
Perfect. Thank you. I think that answers the question perfectly there for that. We have one huge glaring question. I'm not sure if you guys can answer, which is what's the token price going to be for the sale? I'm guessing, right? What's the opening price?
Yeah, Beryl, please.
Of course. Right. So we are going to start with a price of 20 cents per YGG token. And because this is a batch auction, it actually goes up within those 3-day period. So we will be doing the sale from the 27th of July until the 29th of July. So it's in the span of 3 days.
Yeah,
Starting
so
with-
one thing I'm going to add is that we are going to publish a full article on the mechanics, probably around Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, just wait until then. I mean, Beryl gave you some of the mechanics already, but we want to explain this in full. So yeah, we'll be explaining that in a full article.
Perfect. Yeah, I think most people were just they wanted to have a number in their head. You know what I mean? So that's perfect now that we have that there. Look forward to that article from you for more details about the sale. Next question here. Somebody says, looking at the white paper, I noticed your interest in games such as League of Kingdoms, Sandbox, Axie. While the ecosystem in Axie and monetization / yield model and its dynamics is pretty clear, I would be really interested to know how you are trying to generate profits from the other two titles, and what kind of dynamics do you feel these games might have or develop to create opportunities for investors and players?
All right, I'll take this. First of all, each game is different, and our first goal is to provide engagement for our community. As long as there's a community that is interested in playing the game, then we'll be happy to support it. Each game has, I guess, different ways to earn and different rates of earning. And one of the reasons, the main reason that we are investing in Axie so much is that there is a very immediate way for people to earn money via the scholarship program. The earning is not as straightforward for other games such as League of Kingdoms, for example, where the yield accrues to the wallet that has the land. So people don't get the yield directly; they have to do a governance token. Now, this is fine by us. Like, not all games are there to be as meant to be maximized for yield. Some games are there because maybe people enjoy playing it. Like, people don't want to play just Axie because they can earn the most money there. We still have a pretty active alliance in League of Kingdoms. We have a pretty active community in Splinterlands, for example. So we want to be able to provide a variety of games for people to play. Some of them may earn better than others, but we want to provide different games that people can enjoy, and people who have different skill sets can earn money in these games in different ways.
Perfect.
So I actually have a question from the community regarding the sale. Actually, what do you guys have in place for bots? For example, bots buying in at the start. Do you guys have any pre-measures for that or no?
Yes, it should be okay. The Miso has several options that allows you to set up a sale in such a way that even if bots would partake, it wouldn't impact the final result of how the token distribution will be handled at the end of the sale. Informations will come in that regard in the coming days, so this should be answered in the article that we'll be issuing to explain exactly how the sale will be happening. But it's been handled, and Miso has definitely some measures that battles bots in this specific scenario that we're choosing.
Awesome, thank you so much. I got another question. This is actually from one of Cuckoo's viewers. Is sending out portions of revenue from YGG token holders similar to stock dividends style of distribution? Well, it depends greatly on the amount they hold.
So let me handle this a bit. Like, the token holders will have to vote via governance if they want to distribute yield amongst themselves. So, for example, if you liquidate the assets of a game, or if there are fees earned in the game, yeah, the community via governance will have to vote to distribute the proceeds back to token holders. Beryl, do you want to add anything to that?
Oh yeah. So with regards the mechanics of the distribution, it will definitely be rated based on, like what Gabby said, based on the proposal that's been passed. So as an example, this is just like an example. If the majority of the community vote that 20%, for example, of revenues get distributed back to token holders in Vault 1, then 20% will be distributed prorated, like based on how many YGG tokens are inside the vault.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. That's all the questions I have for now, to be honest. Oh, actually, could I ask about YGG's plans about esports?
Okay,
Do you guys have any plans regarding that?
If you take a look at the hiring page we have, the tweets we've sent out, we're actually looking for a program manager for esports. So our goal is to build YGG as the top NFT esports program in the world. So we are focusing specifically on NFT-based esports, starting again with Axie Infinity, probably with Formula One Delta Time, and then other games that come up that are esports related. So Nate has actually been in charge of our Esports Elite and Rising Stars program. But yeah, we're currently hiring for basically a head of esports, and we're looking for someone with very deep experience. If you have, for example, 5 years running Dota teams or LOL teams on a worldwide basis, that's the kind of experience that we are looking for. And this is a global role. We really want to build out YGG as basically the top NFT esports team in the world, where someone can come in as a scholar, and if they're really good, if they get better at the games they're playing, they have the opportunity to be a world champion.
Awesome. Thanks for the input on that.
How about Kevin, do you have any more questions from the community? We have about 10 minutes, so like everyone else, like if we still have some questions unanswered, we would love to see them in the general chat. Just be careful, don't spam. Then we will try to get them as much as we can.
Let me see here. We got any more simple questions? Again, in terms of the vault, I'm pretty sure we're still working on that, like Beryl said, so there can't be any reassured awards, or we haven't chosen what we're deciding, right?
Right, still nothing. It's still up in the air, and a lot of the design is still to be figured out correctly and everything. I did see a very early answer. Sorry. Yeah, I did see a quite funny question at the very beginning of the AMA, and I wanted to answer at some point, but I guess this is not the time. Someone was asking me why I was Anon in the group, and it is a funny question. The first thing is. I like this idea of being Anon because it's something that holds well into the crypto world overall. A lot of the big, people that have created major protocols, whether it's Sushi, Yearn, Curve, there's a lot of those people that actually we don't even know. What's Anon? Anon is anonymous. Just you don't know who I am. You don't know what's my name. You don't know my address. You don't know all those kind of things. And basically, all those people, they don't have a name attached to who they are, but it doesn't stop people from trusting them into making big decisions and pretty much handling a lot of potential millions, if not billions of dollars. And this whole idea just makes sense because in this whole crypto world, there's one scarce asset that is extremely powerful, and this is reputation. The reason why I was able to, take this adventure with Gabby and Beryl is because Gabby saw the potential that I had to help them, and this potential was observed by, reputation and stuff I did, in Axie and DeFi and all this kind of stuff. And overall, I just like this persona of, maybe Gabby and Beryl have their faces exposed, but I don't necessarily. I'm just a little owl, and but I'm still trusted because of all the things that I've done in the past that can actually reflect who I am. And so not having a name or a face attached to who I am just is a funny note and just adds a little fun narrative to how YGG is and what it could be.
I see. Awesome stuff, dude. Like Al, I have a follow-up question. Like specifically like for you. Like on the dev side, like what does the community like have to like look out for? Like what could we expect on the dev side, especially with the rollout of the YGG token sale? What are we working on?
Man, I can't really say what I'm working on right now. that's
No
too
leaks.
many,
No
too many,
leaks.
No
too
leaks.
many leaks.
No
Don't
leaks.
try and bait them.
No, I'm not baiting, but there's really cool things that are going to be happening on the UI side on stuff that we're building. We're working closely with different games that are still, implementing some things that we can allow to build with them, build on top of them. We're slowly hiring, we're slowly getting our dev team larger, and which allows us to focus on more things. So again, I'm not gonna leak anything. That's not funny. But we're working to making things happen pretty much. Sorry if I can't be more specific, but we're very busy.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, I want to take on the question of one of our community members, Mike. He's actually been one of our most supportive members from the very start. So he asked, what are the considerations for choosing a game that we're supporting? So this is a really good question, and I thought we would answer this for everyone. So we have several considerations. One is that it has to be a play-to-earn game. In other words, it has to be a game where we use the NFTs to earn some kind of reward, usually a token reward. So SLP, for example, for Axie, there is Rev for Formula 1 Delta Time, DAI in League of Kingdoms. If you have to sell an NFT resource for crypto, then that might be okay, but it's a little bit harder for us. The reason for this is that we are not built to actually buy and sell NFTs. So, for example, even though we have an NBA Top Shot channel here, because our community members enjoy it, YGG itself will never buy NBA Top Shot NFTs because you cannot use this to earn yield in a game. And it's a completely fine collectible, but we're not gonna support it directly as YGG. So this is one of our main considerations. We want to be able to buy NFTs that produce yield that our community members can use so that they can earn money. Second is that we like games that have some form of group or guild kind of gameplay. Of course, we are a play-to-earn gaming guild, and if there is group support or guild support, then it is much better for us. So that's why we're very excited in games like Guild of Guardians, for example, that we have heavily invested in. We have guilds for over 1,000 players in that game, and if we fill up that 1,000 when that game launches, we'll probably going to add more. Third is that what is the third one? We like games also that have some kind of governance token that we can invest into. So in Axie's case, this is the AXS. It's because we're going to be investing a lot of time and energy into these games that we're participating in. So we want to have basically some of the governance token to kind of reflect the value that we are investing into these games.
I see. So Gabby, like, yeah, talking about like the future plans of all that's happening, like specifically like in the farther future, let's say in the next 2 years, like what's your vision for YGG?
I want to fully upload my consciousness to the metaverse and just rule from Discord. No, just kidding. Owl's already there. Actually, Owl is not a real person anymore. Owl is just an AI that interacts directly with smart contracts. Seriously, seriously, we've been investing in a bunch of games that even won't come out for a while. And we are continuing to look at games. As time goes by, there are more games to possibly invest in. The quality of these games are going up. We already have AAA developers starting to make their own games. And at the same time, we want to increase the coverage of people that we are serving around the world. So we have 5 primary markets, I would say, right now. So it's Philippines, Indonesia, India, Venezuela, and Brazil. And yeah, so for example, we have 2,000 Axie scholars now. We are probably going to be at least 10,000 by the end of the year.
Oh wow.
If we can get to 100,000 by next year, I would be very happy. So that is the kind of scale and ambition we have at YGG. We want to be the largest play-to-earn gaming guild in the world because we want to serve as many players as possible around the world, onboard them to the metaverse. And you know what? It's completely fine to have your own small guild, your own small scholarship. Like that's completely fine, and we kind of welcome all kinds of guild members, and we welcome all kinds of guilds. But for us, we really have a mission to bring the metaverse to millions of players around the world. We want them to be able to participate in play to earn without having to invest because most of the people we have in our community, they actually cannot afford $800 to $1,000 or 40 to 50,000 pesos for an Axie team. So we want to go at scale and be able to welcome eventually millions of players into the metaverse.
I see. I mean, yeah. I mean, if only like everyone knows like how hard the team is working on this, that all these plans that we are really pushing to happen like really in the real near future. I mean, it's really exciting. Like everyone here on Discord, everyone participating in the community. It's a really exciting time for Play to Earn. And yeah, I mean, I just wanna like thank everyone who's joined us tonight. And I mean, before we go, Beryl and Al, do you guys have any like last words for the community?
Thanks for taking the time to listen to us. We're super happy that you guys agree with our vision and what we want to build. And I just want to wish us the best for the future and hope that we can grow as a guild and have some cool loot in some upcoming games that we're going to support.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'd like to personally thank the community here. Thank you for listening to our AMA tonight. Yeah, we'd love you to be much more involved. If you were not able to actually get one of those 300 founders token, for example, it's definitely not late. We are definitely doing more surprises like in the future. Yeah, we are really excited to be working with everyone.
It's really great. I mean, definitely. Like, I just want to request, like, right now, everyone here on Discord, I want to see a Team YGG hashtag Team YGG in the chat right now to show the support for the whole community. Team YGG, let's go, Team YGG, come on, guys. All right, like thank you so much again. Like YGG, like the best way to support the community, like for me, is to help each other grow. Share your knowledge, especially for the newbies, because there are gonna be a lot of people coming in to the space. There are. I can just even like imagine how many people have already joined the community, have already joined the space, and like the best way to grow, the best way to expand is to be able to help each other. And again, like yeah, before I go, again, my name is John SEDANO. I'm the community marketing manager of YGG, and my very wonderful co-host Leah. It's finally good to hear your voice live.
No, thank you for having me, and thanks for putting up with my Aussie accent the whole time. That was great.
It was great. That's awesome.
We all love it. It's awesome.
Oh, stop it, you guys! You make me blush. No, really fun and such a great discussion. It's so good to be able to have these kind of chats directly with Gabby, Beryl, and Al, and I look forward to participating in more in future. I hope.
I released a leak, but the spam hit it, so it's up to the community to find it.